Welcome back, everybody. So, once again, it's early in the morning, just before I have to go to work. I've been up since a ridiculous time in the morning, so I decided to do a movie review, and I'm going to continue on with the Batman series that I started the other day. So, your next movie review is Batman Forever. So, Batman Forever is directed by Joel Schumacher. It stars Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne and Batman. We also get introduced to Dick Grayson and Robin, played by Chris O'Donnell. We've got Jim Carrey as the Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. We've also got Nicole Kidman as Dr. Chase Meridian. Now, in this next installment in this Batman franchise, or this series of Batman movies, in this movie it decides to take a little bit of a more of a comic bookish kind of turn to it. Now, out of the two between Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, I do actually like Batman Forever more than I like Batman and Robin. The reason why I like Batman Forever is I liked what they were trying to do. I just didn't like the fact they went down this comic book kind of turnish. Because when you stick in two villains, the Riddler and Two Face, and you stick them together, in a darker kind of world, that would be two very, very good villains to actually kind of for Batman to face. You know, in the darker, deeper kind of world. But when they put Jim Carrey in as the Riddler, yes, okay, he is a little bit of a madman. He's a little bit psychotic. He's obsessed with Bruce Wayne, but there's far too much comedic moments in here, and this is one of the biggest problems with this movie when it comes to the villains. The villains seem very, very comedic, yet both of these villains can be actually kind of very serious and cynical and properly madmen at the same time. And it's exactly the same with Tommy Lee Jones. They gave him comedic moments in this. Two-Face isn't that kind of villain. He is the flip side of the coin, so to speak. One minute he can be nice, the next minute he just loses his shit. That's the whole reason why he's called Two-Face. And they didn't really capitalize on this in any way, shape, or form in this movie, which again is my another big bugbear with this movie. Like I said, I do not dislike this movie. There are serious inconsistencies and serious problems with this movie. The way that it looks, just for instance, this whole movie looks is just appalling. They went from this kind of they really, really overdone Gotham, as in like what we got in the first Batman or the second Batman. The Gotham scenery, just in itself, it's kind of, like I said, it's got that retro but kind of modern kind of feel to this. And this one, they took it two steps further, and it actually kind of destroyed it for me. The look of Gotham in this destroyed it for me. The feel, the way that this was shot, the extreme amount of color in it is used in this in certain areas is another reason why I dislike this movie. And performances in here are. See, now I generally liked Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne. He played a very, very good Bruce Wayne, and he didn't play a bad Batman either. It wasn't the best. I'm never ever going to sing the praises. It definitely wasn't the best, but as a Bruce Wayne, you can very much believe that he is this brooding multi-million billionaire playboy as well, who has suffered the loss of his, like his parents being killed in front of them. You get that sense of it. And the greatest thing about this story arc in Batman Forever is you get a bit more of an in deeper kind of backside to his past, as in what happened after his parents were killed, what made him or drove him to be Batman. I like that kind of side of it. I really, really did. But there's just, as Batman as such, there is again some comedic moments in here which doesn't suit. To be fair, they're overdone. In other words, there are slight comedic moments in Batman Returns, but they're not overdone because essentially they still remember that this character is still very, very dark. He's still very, very brooding, and it's just that kind of sense you get. I'm just like, it's too much. That you can, yes, put in the odd bit, but if you overdo it, then it kind of destroys the feel of what they're trying to produce. And essentially, this is somebody who watched his parents be murdered in front of him, and he's on this big revenge mission against crime in Gotham. This is one of the biggest problems with this movie that I have, to be fair. It's the fact that they chuck in too much comedic moments in this. And I'm going to have to talk about the Batsuit. Now, I generally like the design of the Batsuit, but again, it just seems to be slightly overdone again. And I have to mention the bat nipples. Why the fuck do you have to put them in there for? The suit does look a little bit too shiny. It's very, very rubbery and all that kind of stuff. I do like the design of the suit. I do. But it just seems to be just a little bit overdone. Other performances in this, Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Again, there's not a huge amount. I do like what they were trying to do, but again, he was just playing himself, and it just didn't work for me. Jim Carrey was playing Jim Carrey, but just dressed up in a Riddler costume. I like the story arc with this. I like the plot that they were doing. He is obsessed with Bruce Wayne, and he's obsessed with about being better than him in every single way. I get what they're trying to do here. It was his idol, and his idol basically pushed him away. And yes, I get what they were trying to do, but if they took even more of a darker, serious side to this, I think it would have played off even better. Now moving on to Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face. Again, he is a very, very dark villain. You know, he's quite aggressive, and they didn't capitalize on this. Tommy Lee Jones, I reckon, is a good choice at that time to be Two-Face, but they could have made him a little bit more serious and just done more, to be fair. Just done a little bit more. Dr. Chase Meridian is Batman's love interest, but again in this, okay, performances, yeah, okay, fair enough, whatever, yeah. She didn't really need to be in that movie, to be fair. She's just there for a love interest. That love interest doesn't necessarily have to be there, in my eyes. And, you know, she's there for 1 minute, she's just obsessed with a man who she can't even see his face. So it's just off point and all that kind of stuff. It's just a bit off me, and I don't necessarily say that she needed to be in this movie in any way, shape, or form. And then it moves on to Chris O'Donnell as Robin. Now, it was always going to be a matter of time in this series before they started introducing new heroes into this series, and they chose this one. And I'm not a huge fan. I don't dislike his character. He had a decent-ish kind of origin story. His performance in here was this very, very young, cocky, with attitude kind of person who basically wants to get revenge on Two-Face, which I get that. The suit with this, yeah, okay, he's a little bit hot-headed, you know, yeah, okay, I get that. He's young, he's after revenge and all that kind of stuff. Again, was he necessarily needed to be in this movie? I don't honestly think so, because essentially at the end of the day, Batman saves both of them anyway, so he's not technically actually needed in this movie in any way, shape, or form. He goes on this big revenge mission just to get captured, and then Batman then has to go and save him. So what was the point of him being in this? Making a choice, he still saved both of them. We all know Batman can figure out situations very, very quickly, and I just couldn't see the reason why he was in this movie. You know, I know what they're trying to do with this movie. I really, really do. And like I said, I enjoy this more than I do Batman and Robin. I don't hate this movie, okay? I don't hate it, because I liked what they were trying to do. I just believe that if they got rid of the stupid amount of colouring, the over-comedic moments in this movie, and just done a little bit more time and taken it away from that comic book-ish kind of feel and carried on with that darker feel, I think this movie would have done a lot better. Okay, fair enough with what they did in Batman and Robin, which will be a review for another day, I admit. Is it going to be a completely different view? But this movie had so much more potential, which they failed to capitalise on. And like I said, I don't hate it. If I was to rate it now, it would be a 5 out of 10. And knowing when I was a kid, when this came out, I had posters all over my wall, okay, to do with Batman Forever. I loved this movie when I was younger. As I grew older, again, the appreciation of it or the love of it started to go down, but I started to see what they were trying to do. The change of the director in this was never a good move anyway. Tim Burton should have come back and done another one. It's simple as that. Another darker one like this with those two villains against Batman would have been a very, very enjoyable movie at the time. It's as simple as that. So like I said, if I was to rate this, it would be a 5 out of 10. So on that note, please tell me what you think about this movie and put it in the comments down below as normal. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care and goodbye.